Alright, welcome back to Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. This is CelJaded with another episode of SmackDown, this time for Tuesday, week 1 of February 2006, which means it is the first episode of SmackDown following the Royal Rumble, and there is fallout, to be sure, on this episode. So, if you watch that gargantuan pay-per-view, you can probably guess there is a lot of storytelling material to get to in this episode. So here we are, our first segment. The World Heavyweight Champion Batista immediately hitting the ring and challenging Randy Orton to a fight. Simple as that. And Randy Orton comes out to respond in kind. A little bit of dueling promo time for these two men. So Batista defended his world title against Mark Henry at the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton ruined his celebration. Ruined Dave Batista's celebration. Randy Orton, later in the night, he won the Royal Rumble match, and Batista came out to ruin his celebration. So these two men on a collision course here, and Dave Batista wants them to waste no time in getting it on here on SmackDown. But that won't be happening, because the boy wonder, Shane McMahon, has arrived, and he has made the point here that he has a lot of men now, all asking for title shots. Bobby Lashley was unceremoniously dumped out of the Royal Rumble match because of Mark Henry, who interfered in that match illegally. Mark Henry blames Bobby Lashley for losing his title match against Batista when Lashley caused the distraction during that match. Randy Orton, of course, is involved and has his title shot at WrestleMania, secured by his Rumble win. So Shane McMahon says, here's what we're going to do. Dave Batista, you will defend your World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match at No Way Out. Your opponents will be Mark Henry and Bobby Lashley. So Batista now has to defend against not one, but two men at the same time in the same match. Every man for himself, there must be a winner, and this is the only way to settle the disagreement between these three men, with Randy Orton here looking on very intrigued as his spot is secure, and he's more than happy to let his opponents tear each other apart on the way there to No Way Out. So huge announcement here as SmackDown gets started. And then we have Melina taunting Akira Hokuto's faction, Risen's son, whilst debuting Katie Lee as her backup and Vicky Guerrero as her manager. Vicky, for her part here, has actually got Katie and Melina booked in a match with two members of Risen's son as well. So Katie Lee, a pickup for our save here, another talented women's wrestler that we can use to bolster our ranks. Even though she is very young into her career here and doesn't have the highest stats and has rock bottom popularity, you know, that's the story of the women's division in 2006. It's a challenge. So we will be fighting some low segment ratings as always. But we've got a match here, one of many, to coach up our younger women's wrestlers. And this one, of course, involving our talented Joshi wrestlers as well. So here it comes, the tag team match itself. Alright, so, wow, a lot going on in this one. So it is Melina and Katie getting the win over Ayako Hamada and Michiko Omukai when Katie Lee gets the backbreaker there and wins the match. So even though she was the weak link in the match, unfortunately, on this occasion, she got the win anyway. And so what have we got here? Looking down this in sequential order. So a nice little fun bit here is the storyline Rise of Akira has been relabeled the Ascendancy of Melina in kind of a deference to the big twist we saw at the Royal Rumble. Make sure you go and check that out if you missed it, of course. So just a little nod there to maybe a little bit of a change in direction as well. But we'll see. We'll see. There's still plenty of time to see where we want to go with this story. Melina and Katie Lee have negative chemistry as a tag team, but I mean, that's fine because we didn't plan to use them as a tag team necessarily. This was just a one-off for storytelling purposes, but good to know about nonetheless. Now, Ayako Hamada and Michiko Omukai have great chemistry teaming together, which, seeing as they're currently in a group together, that's certainly a good thing to know. And Katie Lee and Vicky Guerrero have good chemistry as a manager and worker duo, so that, great news, is exactly why we run these kind of experiments, to see what bonuses we can uncover. And Melina is getting better at her gimmick into the bargain as well. So, considering we've got a little bit of negative chemistry there, we've got the weak link of Katie Lee and the inexperience of Melina, we're still in the green here. So it shows you just how talented the Joshi stars are when it comes to holding a match together with their psychology and their ability. So pleased with their kind of a contribution here to this match, even if the language barrier and lack of overness kind of makes it a bit of a shaky proposition, giving them too many wins at the moment, which, you know, in real life, that probably wouldn't go down too well, would it, if you debuted a new faction and just had them lose all the time? But yeah, this is a video game. You've got a little bit more leeway with these kind of things. So we're just going to play the numbers. And speaking of numbers, if you keep it under your hat, there is one little detail I will share, and that is I may have gone into the database after finding it in the options menu and just finessed Melina's popularity stats a little bit to return them to the values they were at before I made my booking screw up. Again, more on that in the Royal Rumble video. But yes, we have restored Melina to her recognized status, meaning that she can use her star power to hold matches like this together without the audience getting frustrated at a lack of star power. So thanks to Melina for that favor on this occasion. And then after the match here, we've got a quick bonus segment with Vicky Guerrero standing in support of Melina's little makeshift group here, where she is consolidating her power on SmackDown. So Melina has got all the potential in the world, a talented wrestler, and certainly has the star quality to boot. So we will continue with this storyline and battle against these low segment ratings to see what we can make of our women's division here on the SmackDown side. But either way, a good effort from all the women involved this week, and look forward to seeing them again in their next segment. Okay, next we've got Batista, who's delivering a stern warning to Shane McMahon when he barges into his office, grabs him by the throat, shoves him against the wall, and wants the answer to a simple question. Shane, do you and I have a problem? Because Batista just got booked into a three-way match, a match that certainly does not benefit the champion in any way, shape or form. And Shane here, backpedaling very quickly, tells Batista, well, you see, it just slipped my mind, Dave, but I was just about to tell you that in exchange for this huge match that I've booked you in, I'm actually booking you in another match tonight, the main event slot no less, where you will be facing Nitro and Mercury alongside your partner Bobby Lashley for a shot at the WWE Tag Team titles. So Batista releases Shane McMahon's scruff at this point and composes himself, because now Batista has just learned he has a huge opportunity to potentially walk into No Way Out as a double champion and then be facing his tag team co-champion, no less. So a huge opportunity for Dave here. He needs to go and prepare for a huge main event coming up at the end of the show. Bobby Lashley, Batista versus Eminem for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And then we've got Trinity finally getting her name mentioned here on SmackDown with Matt Hardy, who she's finally cornered, finally caught up to, and she says to Matt, look, just listen to me, just listen for just a second, okay? Let's let bygones be bygones. We'll put the past behind us, we'll forget about everything that's come between you and me before. Let's go back to the way it was. I'll manage you, I'll help you reach the top. Together we can do this. We can make it together, just like we always said we were going to do. And Matt Hardy, for his part, unfortunately, still doesn't want to be involved with Trinity. And he calls her by name here and he says, Trinity, you're just a manipulator and you should just go and ruin someone else's life. So strong words here from Matt Hardy, who walks away from Trinity yet again. And Trinity is incensed, the anger in her eyes being turned down yet again by Matt Hardy. This is it. Matt Hardy wants nothing to do with Trinity. Trinity wants everything to do with Matt Hardy. But we're just going to have to hang on to see where this intriguing story goes next. And speaking of next, it is Shane McMahon once again on camera, where he is telling Kid Cash and Jamie Noble, his makeshift tag team here that's been in action recently, that they will be getting their rematch against the Legion of Doom. And this time, if the Mexicals interfere in that match, they will be suspended. So Shane McMahon is playing hardball this time. After the Mexicals, of course, interfered in the Royal Rumble match he kicked them out of and cost Kid Cash and Jamie Noble a rather nasty elimination on both sides. Kid Cash and Jamie Noble here are being promised an interference-free match, because if the Mexicals so much as breathe in the direction of the ring, they will be suspended. So there you have it. Kid Cash and Jamie Noble in action next against the Legion of Doom. All right, so it is Kid Cash and Jamie Noble here getting the win, a clean win at last, of course, over the useless Heidenreich in what, spoiler warning, will probably be Heidenreich's last contribution to this save, because I don't think he's going to hang around for much longer after this. He is just too useless in every capacity to keep around. So a nice dominant win for our Cruiserweight champion, no less, Kid Cash, getting the pin on Heidenreich there. But the bigger story is, at ringside, we have the Mexicals there. And you can see the overbooking note we've added as well. So what is happening here? You've got the Mexicals teasing interference, trying their best to distract Cash and Noble, taunting them from the outside. Like I said, we've launched the overbooking torpedoes for this one because the story is Cash and Noble, they are untouchable here. Because if the Mexicals make their move, they will be suspended. So it is Cash getting the win over Heidenreich, and him and Noble happy finally getting the dominant win they kind of always wanted here. They get a little bit distracted. Okay, we've got a little note from Animal there. We'll return to that later. We've got the Mexicals now hitting the ring as Kid Cash and Jamie Noble get distracted to attack both of them after the bell and clear the ring. So the Mexicals here have shown up Shay's allies once again, because if you think about it, Shane said that the Mexicals couldn't interfere in the match, but they didn't say anything about after the match, which is probably what Shelley has just got on the mic to share there with the audience. So Kid Cash and Jamie Noble, furious. You can bet Shane McMahon's going to be furious. And yeah, once again, we're battling a low segment rating. This is a lower mid-card feud, to be sure. Just something to kind of get our popularity kind of up for some of our younger workers. A little bit of time in front of the camera for the inexperienced Shelley as well. So good stuff here. And something to note as well about Kid Cash and Jamie Noble is they have graduated to the next level of recognition. They are recognizable superstars now. So already we've got two guys in this feud that are benefiting and kind of increasing their popularity to the point where they can hold segments together much better than they used to be able to. So yeah, this is exactly what we want from these storylines, for our mid-card workers to get a little bit of shine, and it seems to be working. So yeah, the results there speaking for themselves. So Kid Cash and Jamie Noble, congratulations to them, and no doubt we will see them again as this story develops on SmackDown. But first, we've got the debut of The Miz. So here he is, The Miz, called up from developmental and making fun of Steamboat backstage and gets challenged as a result. So Miz not making any friends, but certainly happy to make fun of one of the old-timers. So you can probably see where this one's going. It's leading up to a match between The Miz and Ricky Steamboat. It's coming up next. And there it is. So yeah, not the best segment rating. We've got Miz at a point where he is very, very, very green, kind of getting started with his career really, and getting a quick win here over Ricky Steamboat. Ricky Steamboat, of course, the established veteran and the consummate professional businessman that he is, always happy to do the favour for the younger talent. So thanks very much to Ricky for this one, for putting over Miz strong in his debut match. So yeah, an opportunity for Miz here to get some time in front of the camera. Maybe a little bit of nerves on his first night out. It was off his game on this one, but nevertheless, the Miz here getting a strong win over Ricky Steamboat in just a fun little segment with the veteran as well. So great use of Ricky Steamboat here, so thanks to him. But afterwards, we've got a bonus segment here with Trinity, who approaches The Miz. So Trinity is back, and she is approaching The Miz here with an offer he can't refuse. So The Miz, initially, when he sees Trinity, kind of says, look, lady, I don't know what's going on here, but I've already got a girlfriend, okay? And Trinity's like, well, just hold on there a second, Tiger, because that's not the kind of offer I had in mind. You see, I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'll be your manager. I'll help you reach the top here in WWE, but you need to help me. I want you to do something for me. And Miz is like, okay, well, what would that be? And she says, one very simple thing I ask of you, Miz. I just want you to help me ruin Matt Hardy. And the Miz now takes a moment to consider this. Does he really want to shortcut his career to the top at the expense of another human being? Of course he does. He's the Miz, so he accepts. So the Miz and Trinity here seem to be forming an alliance. And the Miz here looking very good in his first episode of SmackDown, already making friends. But will he regret making a friend out of this woman, Trinity? We'll just have to see, as the paths of Trinity, The Miz and Matt Hardy could be crossing sooner rather than later. Stay tuned to find out. Okay, moving on. We have a video recap of Roddy Piper, The Undertaker, and William Regal. All three of them fighting stiff in the Royal Rumble. Of course, this just a little bit of a highlight package of some of the action that we saw in the Royal Rumble, and not least of which there, highlights being Roddy Piper eliminating William Regal from the Royal Rumble with a hell of a right hand. William Regal, of course, was exhausted. He picked up the Iron Man award for the amount of time he had spent in the ring, but it was Roddy Piper who eliminated him. So, yeah, a little bit of drama there between these three men. And, of course, The Undertaker having a bit of a stare-down contest with Regal as well. So, revisit the Royal Rumble for all the kind of action in this segment here. But after that, wow, that was a pretty high segment rating. It is William Regal asking The Undertaker why he is so respected. So William Regal, on his way to the ring, passes The Undertaker and asks him that simple question. Why is it, Taker, that you're so respected around here? What's the simple answer behind that? And Undertaker considers that for a second, and he responds by saying, fear is just another form of respect. And if we read between the lines, is Undertaker saying that people don't respect him, they fear him? And yet, are those two things one and the same? Something for Regal to consider there, something for Regal to chew on as he goes out now to his match here on SmackDown. And it is a dominant win for Regal, getting the submission victory over Scotty 2 Hotty with the Regal stretch. But once again, the biggest story comes after the match, where it is Regal refusing to release the Regal stretch and really putting the screws to Scotty here, which prompts Roddy Piper to hit the ring and make the save for Scotty. So William Regal and Roddy Piper have crossed paths before. Of course, we talked about Roddy Piper eliminating Regal from the Rumble. Before that, Roddy Piper kind of gave a little nod of respect for Regal for his comments that Regal said that the locker room, the youngsters in the locker room need to learn some respect. They need some respect beaten into them. Roddy Piper agrees that that locker room may have gone a little bit soft, but it seems that William Regal may have gone a little bit too far for Piper's liking, because Piper is hitting the ring here and kind of sticking up for Scotty, who was getting the stretching of his life from the tough guy Regal. So interesting development here between these two men, and we'll just have to revisit it again when SmackDown next rolls around. Okay, the main event is rapidly approaching now, and we have Shane McMahon just about to leave his office, and there he's announcing there will be an 8-man tournament for the vacant US Championship starting next week, with round 1 featuring Tajiri and Sylvain Grenier. So we have been introduced to the various players that were going to be in this tournament. We are finally getting the opportunity to book that tournament. It starts next week, so we've got the storyline, such as it is, has been a bit meager. There's a little bit of writer's fatigue in that sense. I do admit to that, but hopefully we're going to pay it off in a big way by building up the prestige of this championship that all of these upper mid-card guys and mid-card guys are going to be fighting over. So look forward to that when it kicks off next week. But for now, it is Shane McMahon psyching up Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury, with Melina by their side, of course, because Johnny Nitro and Joey Mercury, M&M, the WWE Tag Team Champions will be defending their belts against the huge team of Dave Batista and Bobby Lashley that we learned earlier. And Shane McMahon here just whispering a few little words of encouragement to Mercury and Nitro that have these two men looking very confident. So interesting stuff here from the Boy Wonder, helping out his allies here in M&M. So as we move on to the next segment, it is from the opposite side of the divide where we have their challengers, Batista and Lashley. With silent respect between these two men, they're just making their way to the ring without saying a word. It's all strictly business. These two men know now that they will be facing each other at No Way Out as part of that triple threat match, but tonight they have an opportunity together to win the WWE Tag Team Championships, to make Dave Batista a double champion, and to certainly put momentum on Bobby Lashley's side as well. So here we go. It is Johnny Nitro, Joey Mercury versus the team of Batista and Bobby Lashley. It is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And yes, it is Batista and Bobby Lashley going to a draw with Nitro and Mercury when the match descends into chaos following outside interference. So yeah, I'm sorry folks, you have to do it every once in a while. It's the good old sports entertainment finish where there is no finish. We don't want to beat Eminem, of course, and we don't want our upper card guys taking a loss either. But, you know, you need a big segment rating to finish off your show, and I knew that these four guys could deliver the goods. So, yeah, a little bit of a shortcut there from myself, perhaps, but you can't argue with the results. It's a great match anyway, up to the finish, where we do have Mark Henry and Randy Orton interfering, and all these teams now brawling at ringside. And that does not go well for Batista and Bobby Lashley because, as Michael Cole loves to say, the numbers game will get the better of them, where it's 4 men now on 2. Randy Orton and Mark Henry putting the boots to Batista, with Eminem putting the boots to Lashley, and Melina directing traffic there. It does not look good for the babyfaces when the Hooligans, Brian Kendrick and Paul London, of course, we've seen them have many good matches with Nitro and Mercury on this save, and to kind of pay them back for that effort, we've brought them into the main event scene here to get in on the brawl. So they're taking it to Eminem. Batista and Bobby Lashley now rallying back against Randy Orton and Mark Henry. It's all complete chaos with all these men kind of fighting around the ringside area, and then Randy Orton and Dave Batista break away from the pack with both of them alone in the ring, and Batista getting up from the canvas there after being involved in this big brawl, and it is Randy Orton, the sniper, the vulture, taking advantage, punting Batista right in the head. And after Randy gets that cheap shot in on Batista, he retreats from this melee that is still going on at ringside, and now on the rampway, Orton does his classic legend killer pose while Batista curses Orton from the ring there, recovering from a nasty punt. So as we go off the air, the chyron and the copyright information on the screen, it is Randy Orton standing tall. He has once again shown up Dave Batista here on SmackDown. So as we finish our show, we end up with a decent green rating there of 71, so certainly not a bad effort. Nowhere near as strong as Raw was on this occasion, unfortunately. But I think the star power is just a little bit lower on the whole on the SmackDown side, and some of our mid-card storylines we've got going on SmackDown are much colder than they are on Raw. So it's just one of those things. We're going to have to look to improve, but we're still in the green. 71 isn't a bad way to go, and we still have our pay-per-view No Way Out that is coming up very soon as well. So overall, a pretty positive show on the road to that pay-per-view. When we come back for SmackDown, we'll only be 1 week away at that point from No Way Out. So we've got a couple of episodes left to get our storylines where we need them and to start fleshing out more of the card. But we know our main event, and we kind of know what storylines we can expect to see at that SmackDown branded event as well. So, for CelJaded, this was Tuesday, week 1 of February 2006, another episode of SmackDown in the can. That was Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. My name was Alex. I am telling you to have a nice day. We will see you back here on this channel next time, where it will be another episode of Monday Night Raw, of course. So don't miss it. I will see you then.